So that I don't give you a little neck turn over here, I'm going to kind of move over here so y'all can look this way. Kind of looks funny when everybody's heads turn that direction. But now we have a great opportunity here at DFW Airport, and we're really interested in opening up those opportunities to not only the current concessionaires, but new concessionaires. And one of the key components of being able to successfully propose for work or for a concession opportunity at DFW Airport is to understand the basics of how we put together a proposal and how we evaluate a proposal. And so I'm going to give a little bit of a presentation on how to write a proposal, and then we will have some other people come up behind me and give a little more detail about what we're looking for specifically in a concessions proposal. Now, one of the things I want to make very clear is we do understand your company obviously knows how to write proposals. How many of you have written a proposal for a concession opportunity? So there's some people out here who have written proposals and business plans. And so we're not here to necessarily, tell you exactly word for word how to write one. But we want to give you some information to kind of complement the information that you do know with the information that we need in order to evaluate your proposal and to ensure that you have the best opportunity for success. Understand, first of all, some of the basics of a request for proposal document. There will be an introduction and an overview of the various concessions that are available to you. And you need to discover, basically, what is your niche? What are you interested in? So there will be different types of concession RFPs for different types of concession opportunities. So make sure and pick the right one for your company, your joint venture, your partnership. Understand the schedule and the glossary of terms. We're going to let you know and give you a tentative schedule of events, when things will happen, when the RFP will be released, when we will have a session for questions, deadlines for questions, pre-proposal conferences, and other information so that you can understand the timeline of which from the release of the RFP to the time that we go to the airport board to seek an award of contracts for concessionaires, what that timeline is. And also, we also have some glossary of terms so that we're understanding the terms on the same ground. So you understand what our definition is of certain aspects of a concession so that your proposal can reflect that definition. We will have specifications for the desired types of concessions. Obviously, ones for food service would be different for ones for retail. And we will detail that information in each type of request for proposal. We have a minimum qualification requirements, which includes ownership, management, gross sales, and the financial ability of your company to maintain a viable business as a concessionaire at DFW Airport. There will be a proposal overview and some of the documents that will be required. You cannot work for any particular governmental entity without filling out forms. So we don't want to change that expectation here at DFW Airport. There are going to be forms that need to be completed so that we can get the information we need to make a decision. The date, time, and place of proposals are due will be provided as well. And we will state the evaluation criteria on the selection of the concessionaire. So you will have an overview, basically, of what criteria we feel is important. And so you can have an understanding of how we're going to score your proposals once you've submitted them. Now, this sounds simple, but start by reading the request for proposal. Now, again, I think some people say, well, of course you go read the request for proposal, but from time to time, in my experience of 20 years of being in public procurement, I see proposals come back, and it's pretty obvious that they haven't read the proposal because of the information they fed back to us. They might go over to the scope of work, and that's the only kind the only part that they'll look at, or in this particular case, they may look at the details of the type of concession that we want, but they maybe gloss over some of the other items. Well, it's very important for you to understand the kind of business relationship that you're going to enter into if you are selected as a concessionaire. And the request for proposal document is the first step to understanding that. I had a college professor several years ago that told me you're responsible for what you read and you're responsible for what you don't read. So it's very important that you understand the business relationship that we're trying to enter into with your company if you were selected as a concessionaire. One of the conveniences of technology today is that instead of mailing and FedExing requests for proposal documents, they're available right on our website. And we will be posting these requests for proposal documents on the website. It's easy access for you. It's less cost to us. Plus, it also gives an opportunity for your partners or your subcontractors to go to the same location and get the same information you're getting with regards to a request for proposal and the requirements. I think it's also important for you to understand the board's business model, business environment, and clientele. DFW Airport, or frankly any airport, has a very unique clientele. You have within an airport terminal people that are very captive. They can't really go very much. They can't go very far from the terminals. They got to catch their flights, but oftentimes they have to arrive an hour and a half to 2 hours early in order to make their flight. Well, that's a nice captive audience who like to eat and like to shop. And so it's a great opportunity for you to, in a very small area, reach literally millions of people over the year. Matter of fact, we had nearly 58 million passengers last year fly through DFW Airport. And that's a nice captive market to have. But I urge you to take a look at this website and have an understanding of what our concessions policies and procedures are, have an understanding of how we operate, and that way you have a better understanding of the company you're about to partner with. Assess your company's business model and long-term objectives. You may look at the request for proposal, or you may look at the concessions website, and frankly, you may decide, this isn't really part of my long-term business strategy or plan. And that's all right. But it's important for you to understand, what kind of business do I want to develop? How do I want to develop my business down the road? Because when we're contracting with concessionaires, this is a long-term business relationship. This isn't a one-year little consulting job like I typically deal with in procurement. This is a long-term business relationship that we're looking at. And so you need to assess whether an opportunity at DFW Airport fits well with your business strategy going forward. Another thing you need to look at is, do you meet or exceed the minimum qualification requirements stated in the RFP? Now, we will outline those minimum qualifications. Do you have, for example, do you have the financial ability to have a viable, stable company? We'll look at your financials. That's just one of the criteria. I'm not going to go over all of them. But if you do not meet or exceed the minimum qualification requirements, then your company will not be eligible for further consideration. So it's important to understand and know those particular aspects of your business to see if you can meet those minimum qualifications. I would not want any of your companies to spend a lot of time and effort putting together a proposal if you can't meet the minimum qualifications. Now, assess the challenges and determine the early what the partnerships and or subcontractors that are required to position your proposal for success. Sometimes your companies just can't do it all. And the airport does encourage disadvantaged minority and women-owned businesses to be partners and subcontractors in your business endeavor. So assess your strengths, recognize your weaknesses, and find a partner or companies that can help supplement your proposal, strengthen your position, and increase the opportunity that your proposal will be successful. Plan before you write. Now, that seems kind of common sense here, but you need to think about what you want to put into your proposal and outline it and make sure that it meets the objectives that the airport has for a concessionaire. So if you just start writing a proposal and you don't think about how this proposal is going to be successful in meeting the airport's objectives, then frankly you're on the road to writing an unsuccessful proposal. Again, this is a business partnership. We both need to win.